Ooh, I
Michael's
can
going
turn
to
it
go
on.
through this stuff, and I'm going to pray for us, and we'll have a hangout together. We didn't push it too hard this time, just because I've been busy, and I don't know if you guys have been busy or not. But anyways, this kind of stuff, it doesn't bother me. I love that we have smaller audiences. I love seeing our young men, our sons, in here, learning a little bit about I don't know, how to have a good future. We did start doing some Facebook ads, but we only did them about a week ago, and we're learning how to do that. We're actually using Claude Code on some of that too, and that's been fun. Um, I don't know. It's pretty cool. Oh yeah, I was going to tell you, Carter. I was thinking about doing like a side hangout and just having like three or four or five people hang out together and talk about Claude Code, because I know you're vibe coding, and that's such a dumb word. Vibe, you're coding. Then I got a couple other guys that are coding. Connor's doing it, and I have a couple like, and I was gonna, so maybe five or six of us get on a call and just show each other what we're doing, and
Yeah,
hopefully
yeah, that'd
learn
be
from each
awesome.
other. Michael Hurt's doing some stuff too, so
Yeah.
it's just amazing. It's just amazing. So I'll pray for us, and Michael can start. And I don't know that we'll go the whole hour this time, but we're here to hang out and chat and talk about investing.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'll pray. God, thank you for this day. Thank you for your love. Thank you for blessing us, and thank you for all that you're doing in our lives. Thank you for who you are in our life. Thank you for just being there for us and all that you're doing in our life. God, you are awesome. It's in your name. Amen.
Amen. Whoops. Sorry about that. I got to give me 1 second. I got to see where everybody went. Oh, there we go. I lost my browser there. All right. All right. Good evening, everybody. So we'll go ahead and get started. I set this presentation up to be a little bit shorter. I got some feedbacks from some guys on the previous presentation that it might have been a little too long. So I like to do shorter. We're going to do some shorter presentations now. And we can stop and ask questions, and then we can talk about stuff at the end. So again, biggest investing mistakes young men make, and how to stop losing money before you even get started. So we'll go ahead and get going. The main thing that I see is waiting too long to start. Most young men that are trying to get into investing and trying to set up accounts or whatever is, they think, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. Procrastination on anything, including school or in your life, is not going to make you successful or not get you ahead. The main thing I hear from employers now is actually just is one of the main things that workers or business owners are struggling with at the moment. So, guys, just make sure you show up on time or be just a couple minutes early, right? I mean, everybody, I mean, when I grew up, my grandpa said if you're, 5 minutes early, you're already late. So, just be on time, communicate with people, and don't wait too long to start investing. Any amount to get started investing, whether it's $1 a day, it doesn't matter. Just get in motion. And that's with anything in life. Just get in motion. And once you get in motion, it just snowballs, right? So the next thing is, this leads to decades of lost compound interest. We've talked about compound interest last time, but basically that is just the snowball of, if you put a little money in and it continues to get interest, it just compounds itself. And Warren Buffett, the great investor of the world, said, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. So most of you guys have a 30 to 40 year runway ahead of you, that this interest is just going to continue to grow. So make sure you get going with that. Time in the market beats timing the market. This is one of the main, if you get nothing else from this slide, or really, the market is the most difficult thing you can ever do. And what I mean by timing the market is getting in when it's at the lowest point and getting out when it's at the highest point. That is like the most foolish thing that any young investor should be trying to do. Basically, what you want to do is you want to have the most time in the market that your money can be compounding, and you're going to experience ups and downs, especially what is happening now with I say, so we have a war going on, if you want to call it a war, but there's obviously things going on in the Middle East that is causing oil to go up and the markets to go down. And that's what's happening. But if you look back from 1929 till now, we've had the same things go on. You have the same cycles. Most recently, 2008, we had a housing crisis. If nobody knows what that is, you can Google that. And then the biggest thing we just had was COVID, right? So the market went down almost 30 or 40%. And within a year and a half, 16 months, it was back to an all-time high. And then another pullback last year in October. And you can just understand how this cycle goes. So trying to time that of what is happening is one of the worst things you can do. Just continue to put money in. You have a 30-year, 40-year time frame. Just continue to put it in and don't look at it. And what happens at that end will be hypes and trends. Obviously, you guys know this. You're probably more in tune with the hypes and trends of what's going on right now. Obviously, TikTok, Instagram, and the next Bitcoin or the next coin that is coming out that's going to go 100x and make you a millionaire. And obviously, everything you look at on YouTube, they bought Dogecoin, 1,000 Dogecoin, and it went to whatever, and not having to work and whatever. We all know that most of that stuff is not real that you're seeing. So make sure you understand that if you're looking at this stuff, just take it with a grain of salt. And again, trying to get rich quick is most likely never going to work. It doesn't matter if you're looking at Amway, if anybody knows what that is, or pyramid schemes, any of that stuff that says get rich quick, it's not going to work. Just make sure you're putting money into a good account in the market. And again, just it's going to take time to build your wealth. Okay. And that's the one thing that I want today is the society that everybody wants it right now. Right. But unfortunately, building wealth is not a right now thing. And Ben or any other business owner can tell you it takes time to build that wealth. And it's just a snowball that you need to continue to build. And 90% of young guys get burned on the dump. So what I mean by that is meme stocks, crypto, the pump feels like easy wins, right? So you get in something and you have that one first win, right? And that is the dopamine that gets you started. And then you think every trade or every investment after that is going to be exactly like that first investment, right? If you bought it at $10 and it went to $100, you think you're the greatest investor in the world. And that is going to happen every time. I educate people. I have one-on-ones with people that have lost significant amounts of money in the market, and I'm trying to get them back on their feet. And the one common factor that I hear is I put some money in the stock. I didn't know anything about it. It went 100x. I made $100,000, but then I lost it within the next 3 months because I was trying to do the same thing and it just does not work. So I would rather that you do good investments and just get 5, 6, 7, 8% over time. And we just continue to snowball that. And then if you want to be very risky, we take a small portion of that. I've talked about that before. And you put that in some crypto stuff if you really want, or some meme stock that you're seeing, whether it's Cracker Barrel that changes their thing and you think it's going to go up, or Crocs, or SpaceX that they're going to be IPOing soon. If you know what SpaceX is.
Trump coin.
Whatever, throw anything out, right? Yes, whatever it is. But unfortunately, what happens is there are people on the other side of these trades, and they're waiting for you to get in so they can call the smart money. And all of us fish, or all of us young guys, or are the dumb money, right? Institutions and larger investors have way more data and way more people working for them than we could ever imagine. So that's why it's much easier just to put it in something that vibes. We can talk about fundamentals, but basically just buy good companies: Walmart, Apple, Amazon, Google, the things right? And the things that are not going to go bankrupt. And then dollar cost average into real assets. So when the market goes down, we're 12% down right now. I think 10% in the SPX. Just continue to put money in. Don't get scared. right? Do I know if the market's going to come back? I do not. But 100-year previous precedent says that we're going to have cycles like this. And yes, it's going to come back. And yes, it's going to go the upside as long as we don't turn to a socialist country. And if capitalism is alive and well, the market is going to continue to go up. So that's the takeaway of that. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. Again, same thing. One stock, one crypto will make me rich. I'm going to put all of my account in that. Absolutely not. And I've posted this in our investing channel, talked about this, doing the pie of 30% in different things and spreading that out. Or you can even spread it out even more if you want into stuff that is, dividend stuff or stuff that is high tech related. I encourage everybody to spread that out and just don't put everything all in one basket. Zero diversification will total wipe out risk. So if I put all my money in Fartcoin at $10 and it goes down to a penny, I've lost a significant amount of money, and that's not what we want to do. So we would put 0.5% of our total portfolio in Fartcoin, and if it goes down to zero, who cares, right? We have 99% in other things that are going to continue to grow and grow our nest egg and grow our assets. One crash and you're cooked. I always like this "you're cooked" thing because Graham says this all the time, my son. But again, same thing with COVID. If I had everything in one certain stock and it goes down significantly, then most likely what happens from talking to investors over time is they sell at the absolute bottom. The reason is because the market is basically a total psychology experiment of fear and greed, right? And when you're at max fear is when you sell, and most likely 99% of the time, that is the absolute bottom of the market because the pundits and the news have produced the most fear, and that's when you have the worst gut feeling and you get out of the market, and then it usually goes back to the upside without you. So again, like I said, just continue the investing, stay put, and just continue the course basically. So build a diversified portfolio. How to fix this: use index funds and ETFs. We talked about that across all sectors, and then never put everything in one asset. If there's anything you take away from that, letting emotions control you. I talked about the psychology experiment of the market, and it is truly fear and greed. And you can research any of the psychology experiments that have been put into place for the market. So panic selling at the bottom, usually when you have the worst gut feeling and you're feeling the most fearful. COVID would be a prime example. Everybody thought the world was ending. And unfortunately, everybody sold. A lot of people sold, including people that were retired. They sold at the absolute bottom and they have not invested their money back into the market yet. And that was in 2020. There's a lot of people that are still not even back in the market yet. And we actually just hit an all-time high about 2 months ago at 7,000 on the SPX. So you would have lost a significant amount of money if you did not reinvest or stay in the market. The fear, the FOMO of buying at the top, and then the revenge trading after losses. So I was, putting money in. I did 100x on a stock, which was great, but then I lost on the next 3. But then I continued to trade and continue to put money in something that is not a good asset. And I'm thinking that I'm going to get that back, right? And it just kind of snowballs. I know I can get it back. I know I can get it back. I know I can get it back. And then unfortunately you get to the point where you have zero money left. So how to fix this? Set clear rules in advance. So clear rules for me are I'm going to put this certain amount of money in every month or every week, and I'm not going to look at it. I'm just going to let it go if I have a 30 or 40-year time horizon. Automate your investing. As soon as your paycheck hits your account, you automatically send money away to the investing account, whether that's $10 a month, whatever it is. Or on the 31st of every month, I'm going to invest $25, right? Whatever it is, set yourself an alarm or, have your mom and dad remind you. It doesn't matter, whoever, but that's what I'm going to do. And then long-term mindset only, not short-term mindset, right? Again, timing the market is the worst possible thing you can do. Time in the market gives you a much greater time horizon to build your wealth. All right. Investing is a marathon. It is not a sprint. This is like one of the things that I learned very early on from one of my mentors in investing and trading, and it has played out over and over and over. The shorter term time frame that you try to capture in the market, the worse your odds are. There are significant charts out there that you can research, right? So investing is most successful when approached with patience and focus on long-term growth rather than short-term gains. Everybody wants to see that 100% gain in 2 or 3 days, right? That's that dopamine hit. And unfortunately, if you're dopamine trading or dopamine investing, it's not going to end well. And Ben can even speak to this. He'll send me a message, man, Tesla's up, 100, and I'm like the greatest investment ever, greatest investor ever. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, and then it goes down. I should have sold, right? Or whatever. I mean, so that happens, unfortunately. So put that long-term mindset in, not short-term mindset. Consistency and discipline. This is with anything in your life, right? Atomic Habits is a great book to read if you haven't read it or listened to it, but it's the same thing. Maintain consistency. 31st of the month, 15th of the month, whatever it is, I'm going to put money in. Discipline helps investors navigate market ups and downs, right? So if you're putting in all the time, when the market goes down, you're going to dollar cost average. And then when it goes up, you're going to be like, oh, wow, this is great, right? But then when it goes back down, you're going to feel terrible. But if you stay with this consistency and discipline, it's going to work out over time. And then weathering market volatility. So market volatility is just the ups and downs of the market, right? And every year the market has 3 to 5 times that the market pulls back 7, 8, 10, 12%. And then actually once or twice every 3 years, it actually goes down about 20%, which is a significant drawdown, right? So understanding that this is going to happen, you're going to have these ups and downs in the market. It is just how it works. And unfortunately, the fear and greed and psychology drives it more than what anybody knows. And then over here is our math of investing. I think everybody can look at this, but basically it's just saying if I invested $100 a month, the numbers of years to invest to get to this point, right? So if I invested $100 a month over 40 years, I'd end up with $322,000. If I invested $500 a month, that's $100 a week. Over 40 years, I'd be at 1.6 million. And this is assuming an 8% average, which is actually fairly balanced at the moment with what we've seen actually the past 30 or 40 years. And you can even go up from here up to $1,000. You're looking at 3.2 million over 40 years. So if you're, just hitting 20, 22, 25, and you're looking to do this 40 years, 65 is about retirement. So then you can just see how this works out, right? So just understanding that just putting this money in every month. And then if you have a 401k match, when you start working at some place, if I put $500 in and my 401k is matched, this could be up to $750 to $1,000. So you could be up to this point without only putting $500 in. And then you could be where you're at in 30 or 40 years. So, all right. So 6 best long-term ETFs. I'm going to post this in the investing site, but basically I've listed these before. You can take a look at them, and then how to get started on your journey. So find a brokerage app or an account. If you guys have not done that, I think most of everybody has on here. So Robinhood, they now have a custodial accounts. I think they started that a couple months ago. So if you're under 16, then you can get a Robinhood account. Your mom and dad can sign you up for that. Acorns, SoFi, Schwab, Fidelity, whatever. These are just the top picks of the millennial generation at the moment. When I just researched. And then diversify, we talked about putting 30%. So if you have 100% to invest, putting 30% in just these top 3 or 3 of these would be the way to go. And then generate capital to invest. Employment, obviously the job, start your own side business, chores for mom and dad around the house. Just even if they pay you $5 a week to take out the trash, right? That's just getting in motion, or whatever it is, to mow the yard. I don't just get in motion, do something to make money, to be able to put in the investing, and work for people in your church or community. Walk around your community and say, hey, you got older people. They're always looking for people to come by and do things. Even if you sweep the driveway off, or sweep their garage out, or whatever. If you go next door and say, hey, I'll take your trash down and bring it back up every week for $5, just do something, just simple stuff. And if you get 5 or 6 people, I mean, that's $30 a week. And that's just free money that you'll be able to put in your investing account. So I encourage everybody to do something like that. I think everybody on here, though, is probably doing something along those lines. So, all right, just do it. What's this? Anybody know? Who's this from? Nobody? Nobody?
Nike.
Nike. Hey, good job. Had to bring that in since it's basketball season. So, okay. Hopefully that wasn't too long. Hopefully that wasn't too painful.
So,
Anybody else?
so I'll ask some questions. Thad, how's your Robinhood? Have you looked at it lately?
Is it way down?
Yeah, super down.
Yeah. How
Is
much?
it
What
down?
percentage?
in total, like 300 down, $300 like total. Let me get it to
Okay.
it real quick.
Okay.
I am down 6.5% all time.
Okay. So let me share this. Let's see, share
Down,
screen.
yeah, down $300.
Okay. So let's go here. And let's
What do you
look
do?
at we'll look at what the SPX is down from the high here. So you're actually doing better than the SPX. So we're actually down 7.55%, right? So you're about average, okay, for
Yeah, so
whatever you're invested in.
I put money in on at the beginning of September is when I started investing.
Okay,
So
good.
that's my timeline.
Okay, that's good. So as of now, you're down. I mean, you're almost down what the SPX is. So what I would be is what I'd say to you is I'd be worried if you were down 10 or 12% because obviously you're in things that are over leveraged or
Mm,
is going down worse than the SPX, but actually you're not as down as much as the SPX at the moment. So you're pretty much tracking that, right? Actually, the SPX is down more than what you're down. So whatever you're in is actually not selling off as much. Okay. So that's
yeah.
actually good. That's actually good, whatever your allocation is. So that's what I like to look at. And like what I help young investors, I'm like, okay, well, how much is your account down? If they said, well, my account's down 15%, I'd say, okay, well, what are you invested in, right? Are you all in Apple or all in Google? That means you're too concentrated, but you're tracking the SPX, right? So which is good. I mean, we're probably looking at 10 to 12% pullback in the SPX is probably stuff overseas stops sooner than later. So you're tracking very well. So that's good.
Yeah.
Carter, do you have? Go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Thad. What were you gonna say?
I was going to say some of my stocks I have. I have Nvidia, and then I have a couple of other like smaller stocks that I did a little research on, but not a ton.
Yeah.
But like, they're still down, but like obviously just not as much as the.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I would
Michael,
say
go ahead.
yeah. So so let's just say like Walmart, right? Walmart's only down. I mean, so this is what they call a defensive stock, right? Because people are still going to go to Walmart, even if that we're having. I think everybody knows what a recession is, but if we're having a recession, um, I guess it's actually down 8.7%. That's surprising. I thought Walmart wasn't down that much, so it's actually down a little bit more. But you can see like it's still holding up, right? It's not like fairly well. It's just going sideways. It's not down that much. Tesla is pulled back quite a bit. All the tech stocks will pull back quite a bit. Let me see what. So J&J, right? Obviously up here, not pulled back much. This is a defensive stock, pays a dividend, So yeah. Anyway, go ahead. What are you gonna say, Ben?
I was just going to ask you, do you have like, so I'm looking at my Robinhood, but my Robinhood is really heavy with, I have my other real stocks. It's my place where I go play, and
Yeah.
it's got a bunch of Bitcoin in it. But my one, like if I go 3 months, I'm down 21%. If I go, if I go year to date, it's even more. Wait, I'm on Bitcoin. Let me go back to the
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask about too with Bitcoin.
year to
Yeah,
Um,
date.
Bitcoin
I was just gonna say year to date, I'm up like 11%.
year to date, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, not year to date. I'm
Um,
sorry, 1 year, not year to date. 1 year,
okay.
12
Yeah.
months.
Right. 12 months. Yeah. Yeah. Bitcoin's at 68, 70,000. So yeah.
would you consider Bitcoin like a safe asset to invest in though? Compared obviously to other cryptos, it's a lot safer, but
Yeah. So basically what I'd say is out of this bucket, so if you do the 30% bucket, right? So let's do 30, 30, 30. Okay, so you're at
Mhm.
90, right? So I'd take the other 5% and I'd probably put it in some fixed income. So fixed income is basically like a high yield savings account or something. And then if you wanted to take 5% of your total portfolio and invest in something really risky, that's where I would be at for that, right? Then that's just what I
Okay.
would. So 2.5 to 5%, you can do high risk. You can do high risk stuff if you wanted to, right?
Did you consider
Bitcoin,
Bitcoin high risk?
yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Bitcoin usually has a 50% pullback. That is what we've seen the historical average. So we're getting
But
close to the 50%
it always
pullback.
bounces back.
No, not always. Well, yes, it does, but you have to look at the time it
Right.
takes to bounce back, right? So here's what I would say is, okay, we look at Bitcoin and I would look at the time and I'd say, okay, well, it was at, 53,000 here. And then it took basically 6 months to get to 100,000 for let's say January, right? But I would look at other stocks and say, okay, they bounce back much faster than what Bitcoin, right? So what do you want to be invested in? Same thing with the SPX, right? So that's my caveat, right? Now,
Okay.
do I put money in Bitcoin? Yes. Do I put money in Ethereum? Yes, but it is a very tiny, and I dollar cost average. I've just been putting a couple bucks in every month into Bitcoin and Ethereum for 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is. And I just put it in and leave it. And if my kids are multi-billionaires because Bitcoin goes to 500,000, like some people think it is, it's a bonus, right? But I'm not looking at it like I'm going to retire off of Bitcoin. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I would say like 30% of my portfolio was Bitcoin, and I know it went down a decent amount lately. Would you
Yeah.
say to them just sell that at a loss, or just
The problem is if you've rode it up and now you've rode it all the way back down, it's kind of like,
Yeah,
okay, well, what's the point, right? What's the point of
right.
selling
'Cause
now?
I think I bought
And,
in like 88 or something like that. But
exactly,
then it
right.
shot up to like 127. I was like, geez, that was a smart investment. And then
And
it
then why
just,
didn't you sell, right?
yeah,
Exactly, right,
yeah, I should
exactly.
have
And
sold them.
this is what happens, right? Everybody thinks they're the greatest investor in the world, and crypto's
Mm,
gonna, I'm 21 years old and I'm never gonna have to work again, right? Or I'm gonna be flying on private jets to wherever. So I mean, honestly, it's up to you and how much you have invested in it. But again, what I say is most people sell at the absolute bottom because that's when they have the most fear. Right now, I'm
right,
not saying Bitcoin can't go down any further. The only risk
right,
to Bitcoin is the algorithm and the actual data, or the stuff behind it. Right? If it gets to the point where it is not usable anymore, which I'm not saying it is, but there is that risk of that
right.
it
Yeah.
becomes a zero asset because of other things that other technology that's being developed and advanced. Right now, I think there's always going to be coin the one that it's going to be, and I think that's what everybody in the crypto phase was trying to figure out. Right? Was it Ethereum? Was it XRP? Was it what everything you saw, right? All these coins were coming to market, but nobody knew, what was going to happen. Now, we do have some legislation and we do have some rules that are being in place for Bitcoin. And there's some companies, obviously, they're using Bitcoin as currency. There's some countries that use Bitcoin as currency, right? To pay for things. Tesla obviously takes Bitcoin to pay for a Tesla if you want it. So there's a legitimacy to it. The problem is if some other technology comes and takes it over, right? And then that's
Right.
going to be that's the risk. That's the major risk for crypto. Are making you more
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah, that makes sense. I
Yeah,
guess that
it's
plays into
hard.
everything.
It's hard, and that's why I would say 2.5 to 5% or even less, because it's not tangible, right? I can drive by 50 Walmarts on my way to wherever I'm going, right? And I know
Right.
they're selling, and I know people are walking in and out. The Costco up here is the parking lot's packed every day, right? And I can visually see that and understand. Guess what? I know they're making profit. They're selling them $1.50 hot dogs like crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I can see that. Unfortunately, in Bitcoin, there's not an asset there's physical Bitcoin, but there's not an asset that backs it, right? Costco has real estate. They have all of this inventory. There's stuff that backs it, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the problem with crypto.
Did you say the same for like AI companies then? Like
Yes.
a lot unknown with that.
So AI companies remind me of a few years ago, and I'm not saying this is a bubble, but when all the .com companies started hitting, right? Pets.com, blah, 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 blah. And as long as you put .com in your name, your stock went like up like 1,000%, which was absolutely crazy. Same thing is happening now. If people say they're using AI, so this happened a few weeks ago. What was that company, Ben, we were talking about? They said they were like, it was a total junk company, but they said they were using AI. I can't remember what it is, but it went from like $10 to $100 in one day. Like all they said was, we're using AI, and that's it. And people like started losing their minds. I can't even remember what it was, but it's kind of the same thing that's happening now. There's going to be some good AI companies, and there are good AI companies. I could point you to a few of them that I know are good, but nobody knows who the leader is going to be the chip leader, right? But nobody
Yeah.
knew that when the company started, right? I mean, the IPO was like $5 on Nvidia. I mean, it's up like 5,000%. Nobody knew Nvidia was going to be the main chip person, you know. So that's what I would say is I want these companies to become established, and then I can start investing in Nvidia. I did not get in Nvidia until I think it was like $150, I think somewhere around in there, and then they split. I think my average is like 19 now. But I didn't start investing until it started rolling, you know, and showing
Mm.
profits, and saying, or becoming a chip leader. And then I'm like, okay, this is a legit company and they have a long runway. So, but all these companies are just saying they're doing this with AI and they're doing this. And a lot of the companies don't even have profits. If you pull up the company,
Right.
they're not even making profit. And I'm like, okay, wait a second here, right?
Like I saw that OpenAI just shut down one of their like video generation because it was losing like $10 million a day.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Right. Right. Yeah. And for every one of those companies that's going to go up 5,000%, 100 of them are going to go bankrupt or get bought out by somebody else, or their
mm,
technology is just going to go away, even though they say we got the cutting edge technology, we got the newest and greatest thing, right? So that's the problem is you don't know which ones, you know what I'm saying? So, and if you're just guessing, you can lose everything. I mean, really. I mean, so that's why I say invest in established companies or buy ETFs that own 100 companies. There's actually AI ETFs, right? So what I would do is put money in the AI ETF, right? So then it owns 100 companies. So if 75% of those companies, yeah, man, 75% of those companies go away, but the good companies are still in the ETF, then I'm fine, right? So that's the way I would invest in that stuff.
right.
So I do that with a lot of stuff, like stuff that's coming out. One of the ETFs that I think is really interesting is the personal drones that you sit in and
Mm,
ride. There's multiple companies out there. Joby's one, so there's actually an ETF that covers all those companies. And I really think, I mean, I'm not saying it's investment advice, but I really think that's probably
mm,
going to somehow, some way, we're going to be using those to get from point A to point B. They're using it a lot
mm,
now in medical technology, right? So wherever there's a GPS coordinates, the drone goes with two other guys, picks the patient up, they punch in the GPS coordinates, it takes them right back to the hospital. So there's
mm.
there's no human interaction. And if you look at, I'm off on a tangent, dude. If you look at medical
Oh, I didn't know that.
helicopters, I know. If you look at medical helicopters, they crash a lot of the time, and it's using human error. So if we can remove the human error, I think personal drones are probably going to be. So what I do is I invest in a company that covers all those because I have no idea what company is going to,
So you're basically just
you know,
investing in the idea of it.
yeah, exactly, right. And there's going to be companies that come out of that ETF that are the leaders, and that all of the hospitals are going to use, all of the transport companies are going to use. So, I don't, doesn't matter to me which company that is. I'm just investing in the ETF, so they cover all that. So it's a good, much safer way to invest in that. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
One other thing I want to cover, guys, this is kind of off topic, but this goes to the dopamine response that this is kind of like a social thing. But does anybody know what the most up and coming addiction is for your guys' age group? Does anybody know what that is?
Gambling, sports
I'm being totally honest with you guys that I've talked to
I
a
actually
couple
lost the
people.
bet. I didn't think anybody was going to get that. I bet someone that nobody would know the answer to that. So.
Yeah. So I know. And I've actually talked to a couple guys lately that a couple younger guys that are into trading and investing. And unfortunately, they've lost a significant amount of money sports gambling. And I hate it. I mean, like, it crushes me because unfortunately, it starts, again, I'm not saying everybody is prone to addiction. It's not, right? But unfortunately, males are prone to dopamine hits, right? And across the gamut, and just, there's no women on here, but across the gamut, what I'm saying? It's sexual stimulation, it's, anything that gives you that dopamine hit, alarms clicking on your phone, you know what I'm saying? These are all programmed and set up by Mark Zuckerberg and all these people to keep you engaged all the time. And it's the same thing with sports gambling. I've been on the apps, right? And you can see what happens is if you allow notifications, hey, you've been gone for a little bit. Hey, you haven't placed a bet in this long. Hey, you haven't done this. Hey, you haven't done this. And it just keeps drawing you back in, right? And I'm not saying everybody is going to become addicted to sports gambling, but it's the same thing with alcohol or anything else. It starts with one drink after work because I need to calm down. I need to relax. And then it turns to, okay, that turns into 2 drinks and then 3 drinks. And then, oh my gosh, I need this to sleep. And then it just continues. It's the same thing with sports gambling, guys. It's so easy to get sucked into it. And unfortunately, then it becomes shameful, which is what happens with most addictions. And then you try to hide it. And then unfortunately, bad things happen on down the road. You know what I'm saying? And credit cards are prone to bringing you guys in and saying, hey, I'll give you this cash advance. I'll give you this cash advance, just signing up for a credit card. And that's how the guys that I have talked to, unfortunately, got sucked in. So they racked up a significant amount of credit card debt, sports gambling, right? And the cash advance and everything else just kind of snowballed on them. And that's what happens, right? It kind of just snowballs. Like you lose once, or unfortunately, you place a $10 or $15 bet on the longest shot ever and you hit it and then you win $1,000. And then it's like, I'm the greatest sports bettor ever, right? And it just snowballs. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, and
So.
just to piggyback on that, I don't know if you guys know how those apps work, but if you start winning money and you're actually good at betting, they're going to limit you and they're going to stop you from betting. If they're offering you a bunch of promotions to bet, that's probably a sign that you're not good. Because that's pretty much how those things work. If somebody is really sharp on the spreads, they're going to find a way to get you to bet less. So if you're seeing like, hey, I got a 30% boost or whatever it is, it's probably the case that, they think you're going to lose. So,
yeah. So, and all of that stuff is designed. The only people that make money on that are the casinos. Same thing as casinos, right? There is no flat or house odds in your favor on any casino game. I don't care who you are. There none. So the people that are doing the sports betting in Las Vegas, they have thousands of cloud computers calculating this stuff, and they know what they can give you a spread on and what they can't give you a spread on, right? And they all know, right? And I get it. A lot of guys are just doing it for fun. They're like, okay, I'm going to bet on Tennessee. I'm going to bet $5 on Tennessee. Okay, right? I got it. But unfortunately, just be cautious and just understand, how easy you can get sucked into all this stuff. So,
yeah.
Okay, that's my dad spiel for today. So.
All right. We'll probably wrap up early if that's all right with everybody. And
the games are starting further early on.
Unless anybody had any real questions to ask. Michael loves chatting about this, and he does one-on-ones with you guys as well. So, anyways, and also feel free to text him because he'll text you back. He wants you to win.
Not in sports gambling, though. I want you to win in the market.
Hey,
and everybody's going to be like, wait, isn't the market gambling? Blah, 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 blah.
Hey Luke, do you have a microphone? No.
Yeah.
Hey,
He does. He
do you
does.
have an account like a Robinhood?
He's
I have
like,
an Acorns account.
Oh, you have an Acorns account. Okay. Thaddeus, you have a savings account too, like a change savings account. Is that right? You might be done. What's
No, I have two investment accounts. I have a Robinhood account and then I have that LeConte Wealth
no?
account, but I
What's that?
don't
What's that one account? What's that one app that you use that saves a little bit here and there?
Acorns. That's what
Okay, okay,
Michael Hurt
Yeah,
said the first meeting.
okay. Luke
yeah,
has one. Well, that's cool. So,
yeah.
Yeah,
It
Luke,
works.
Luke, what was that stock that's doing good for you in Acorns, the company?
None of them are anymore.
it
What
had,
was it though? I thought there was one you said was doing well for a while.
It's down like Caterpillar stock was doing good for me, but then now it's down
Caterpillar.
a lot.
Okay.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know a lot, but
yeah. It's not done. It's economy related. So
all
Yeah,
right,
you're
guys.
right about the acorns.
Okay.
I think it was the second month that you were talking about that, Michael. And I saw
yeah,
it. And unfortunately, I have a lot of smaller transactions and big transactions and all sorts of things. And it's already up $1,000 just from just
That's all.
change.
I know. Isn't that crazy? I know. I know. I showed my wife the other day. I think I started in, gosh, I don't even remember. Yeah, 3 or 4 years ago, and it's just, I mean, it automatically goes in, right? It just rounds up, and then you look at it and you're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy, you know? So yeah, so it's pretty cool. I like how it works. So out of sight, out of mind. So yeah, so
All right, gentlemen. I appreciate you.
yep,
Next month,
awesome.
Josh and Carter are going to talk about some things. I don't know if Carter has Josh talked to you. Has your dad talked to you yet?
Well,
mm,
I think Carter's going to be gone, so
oh
I'm gonna
yeah, I
have
won't be here.
Nathan with me because
You,
Carter's going to
Nice.
be
oh
in
yeah,
Japan.
that's right. He'll be in Japan. You can do it from Japan. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Come
I
on.
can hop
Might be the
on.
middle of the night, but who cares?
Yeah,
Depending on what time it is.
Yeah.
I
All
like
right,
I like
gentlemen.
mailbox money, so that's awesome.
Yeah, we're talking about mailbox. Josh has been he's been a part of three businesses, and so three, is that correct? I mean, you might have been part of more, but three successful ones.
Yeah, I got three subscription businesses right now that are bringing money in, so that's really what.
Recurring revenue, baby. Recurring
Yeah,
revenue. That's it.
yeah.
That's it.
All right, gentlemen, we'll talk to you later. You'll see an email about next month here soon, okay?
Awesome. Okay.
All right.
Let me know if
Thanks for
anybody needs
joining.
anything.
See you guys.
Okay.
See you.
Thank you,
See you.
Bye.
Michael.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks.
Appreciate
Yeah.
you.
Yep.